Is the real estate market crashing?
According to the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver's economist Andrew Lee, it's actually doing something a little bit different. So when Andrew Lee was speaking in our November 2022 market update, he talked about how immigration and housing supply and demand is going to be so extreme that we're going to see a price increase. And we'll leave the quote below so you have more specifics on that. Now, let's dive into it.
Yeah, let's dive into it. Welcome to the Vancouver Real Estate Blog. I'm Wilfred.
And I'm Amira, and we're Vancouver real estate agents. We work all throughout Metro Vancouver. Comment below if you have any questions after this video.
So let's dive right into it. So interest rate has gone up today, and at the time today we are December 7th, 2022. So it has increased by 0.5 percentage. So which means that it will most likely have a huge impact again on the real estate prices. So that being said, Amira, what are your thoughts?
So right now in the Vancouver real estate market, we are seeing a little bit of a lull, and that's coming from a few key things, one of which we just touched on, which is it's coming from continuous rising interest rates. It's coming from inflation, and it's also coming from this kind of fear monologue that we're seeing and dialogue that we're seeing throughout social media. So talking about how, the market's crashing, talking about the title of our video. So, but what people really, I think, should take a look at is some of the statistics and listening to the experts. So Andrew Lee, as I mentioned, he discussed that in his opinion, the market actually has a lot of potential down the road. It doesn't mean it's not going through a lull, but just that there is a lot of opportunity. And I think for proactive buyers, they're going to see a great return on their investment right now.
Yes, I love that you mentioned looking at the facts, looking at the numbers, so that we know exactly what's going on instead of the media. And
well, you're the numbers guy. So.
Exactly. We both love numbers, and the media, they tend to excite people or create fear, which is not necessarily what's the objective truth. So that being said, today we're going to talk a little bit about the numbers. For example, I know you have a long list of numbers right here, Amira. She has highlighted all of these for you, and I think those, we're not going to go through everything because I know that would be too much, but we're happy to.
A little boring too.
Yeah.
So
exactly. But we'll talk about the key important things, which is, let's talk about the benchmark price. If you don't know what a benchmark price is, it is basically a lot of combination of algorithm to make sure that it represents a typical home here in Greater Vancouver or specific cities. It's not the average, it's not the median, because those numbers tend to be skewed depending on the month.
Yeah.
So, that being said, numbers for you.
Okay, so I actually did take a look over through November 2022 all the way back to November in 2012, and I wanted to show you guys how the market has changed based on the HPI benchmark price. So when we look here, 3 years ago, we were sitting at 900,000. So when we take a look, this year, our HPI benchmark price was sitting at 1.132. If we look at 3 years ago, in 2018, we were sitting at $904,000. In 5 years ago, in 2017, we were looking at 1.045. So we see that it actually went down in 2018 and it was higher in 2017. That's normal. That's kind of what we're seeing right now, with it going up a little bit actually in the past 3 years, but it's gone down compared to last year. And then when we're taking a look at the 10-year averages, we were actually sitting at around $642,000 as an HPI benchmark price. So that's a lot of numbers, but what I kind of wanted to share with everybody about that and show through that is, if you're taking a look 10 years ago, we were sitting at $642,000 for our benchmark price here in Metro Vancouver. And if you look today, we're at just over 1.132. So that's an incredible
Almost doubled.
jump.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, I think, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but I think the biggest thing we've seen is people are having fear because they're looking at year-over-year numbers. When you're looking at year-over-year, we're going to see a huge fluctuation because we've had so much change recently. So a year ago, we just were starting to really get out of COVID. People were starting to get a lot more comfortable and wanting to be proactive again. Maybe that's when you felt safe to move out of your home and kind of explore homes again. So much activity. The prices were unprecedented that we were seeing.
Yep.
I know price per square
It's
foot.
yeah, it's been the highest ever recorded, especially Surrey,
Yeah.
Langley, which has grown so much. And of course, right now they're decreasing the most because, you know, it was basically inflated value.
Yeah, and so now what we're seeing is we're just kind of seeing things steady out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think people are getting really scared because they're looking at those comparables year over year instead of taking a look at the long term. And real estate is a long term game. Sometimes you get some short term profits, which is amazing. And we're always so happy for you when you do. But I would never go in and tell you to play the short term game intentionally.
Yes, 100%. I would say like a good plan would be 5 years to be very, very safe. And again, real estate is a long-term game. But here, based on the numbers, if we look at the 10-year change, majority, if not like only I see one city which has not increased by over 100%. And 100% means double, right? So that's in terms of just on average, of course. We're talking about the Greater Vancouver, all the cities combined, as well as all the property types. And if we talk about the specific cities and specific property types, it also has its own sort of market. So for example, for townhouses, we talked about it in our previous video on the November market update. Townhouses and apartment in Vancouver East, as well as Burnaby East, is starting to go up. What does that mean? That means probably people are wanting to get back into the market. They've seen that the value has come down ever since the peak in around May. So now they are wanting to come back. And of course, those are valuable and desirable cities. And that's potentially one reason why when all the other cities, or majority of them, has gone down month to month. So that's a very interesting fact for you.
And so with that in mind, there's so many different numbers we could share with you, so many different factors we could talk about. If you guys ever have questions, please comment below or reach out to us. Myself or Wilfred would be happy to connect with you and do a buyer's or seller's appointment, or just offer a little bit of advice on the market. So I hope you enjoyed this video.
Yeah.
And
that's it for today.
That's all I have for you.
We want to keep it short and sweet. So, is the real estate market crashing? To summarize, I think it depends on the specific city, specific property types. Most likely it's going to slow down in the overall market because of the recent interest rates. And any concluding thoughts, Amara?
I think just kind of what we already touched on, which is we can expect a lull, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a crash. This isn't a long-term thing that we're looking at. It's short-term. We've seen it in the past and we're seeing it now. And I mean, I think there's a lot of potential for buyers who are being proactive to get in the market while they're able to get a little bit of a deal depending on what style of home and what neighborhood they're looking in. Again, if you want to know more, just reach out to us. We're happy to share our insights with you and even just share the numbers with you so you can make up your own conclusions there.
Amazing. Thank you again for your time. Hope this helps and happy to chat further down. Looking forward to seeing you at the next video.
Yeah. Okay, thanks guys. Follow and like for more.
Awesome. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.